All right, I'm joined here by my main man, Mr. Thomas. Man, why don't you share with the people, I guess, your highest revenue month?
Last month, I cracked the 16K a month mark.
How's your life changed so far? Like, what are you able to do now?
Yeah, it's completely changed my life, as we can see about this interview.
I guess, what is the top piece of advice that you would tell beginner George?
Man, just keep sticking to it. I remember that $200 in the bus.
What's one of the biggest time wasters you see new beginners I just make mistakes with? Like, they just waste a lot of time doing.
I guess it's a...
All right, I'm joined here by my main man, Mr. Thomas. So, man, why don't you share with the people, I guess, your highest revenue month and just celebrate with them?
Yeah, man. So first of all, thank you for actually letting me be here and to be a part of this. Like, I joined the 4 this year, I think back in August, so almost a year ago. And yeah, it's completely changed my life, as we can see about this interview. Right now, I think last month I cracked the 16K a month mark. So very happy about that. And of course, we got to meet in Vegas as well back in February, which was really cool, seeing all the boys and actually seeing how possible it is. It's not just some guru on the screen selling courses. This is a real thing. It's a real industry. And obviously, when you get into it, you think, I'm a bit skeptical. But seeing you guys in Vegas, hanging out with the boys, eating $100 steaks, you realize, yeah, this is real and it is possible. So
yeah, man, 100%. I just got off the call with Jerry like a couple hours ago. He was saying the same, how just life-changing Vegas is in general, just to be buddy with people on screen, then go to one of the funnest places ever, freaking Vegas, and just go have a good time, but also just like grind with everybody else as well. And I guess almost equally as important, like what kind of results have you gotten for your clients so far?
I guess I can talk about one where I built a funnel back in January. So this would be about 6 months ago. It cracked the 1 million mark in like end of February. So in 2 months, we did over 1 million. So we're basically driving about $500,000 to this funnel alone. And it's a funnel I completely built out myself. So I did all the design, all the copy, landing pages, upsells, OTOs, emails, basically everything. I was like a one-man show. So it was nice to know that I made directly that much impact with my client. So
yeah, let's go, man. That's awesome. It's a huge milestone. And so you mentioned there that you were doing a little bit of everything. Would you consider yourself more like, I guess, full stack? You do like the whole 9 yards, end-to-end marketing?
Yeah, full stack is definitely my jam. I haven't actually done emails in a long time. I'll do emails only if they're part of funnels. I don't know, I just like building funnels. Like it's super high leverage. It's kind of the reason I actually got to almost cracking the 20K this month, was because I can do that. Like I can, come to a client and say, look, this is going to be 7K upfront or 10K upfront or whatever it is. And then 10% on the commission, which is what I've actually done. So I'm setting up myself up really nicely for the next 6 months with my client. I said, yo, it's going to be 7K. He was like, sure. I said, but it's 7K upfront. And then there's 6 months where we're going to do 10% commission. So if you make $1 million, I make 100 grand, and that'll be obviously per month. And then at the end of it, you can have a buyout clause where you say, okay, I don't want to pay you any more commission, because business owners don't like doing that. And I understand that. And that's why I say you can have a buyout clause where you pay me another 7 grand just to exit this contract. And he thought about it. He paused and he said yes. And it was that easy. And so now I'm setting myself up really well. Now it's performance based. I'm not sure how much money I can earn, but it's certainly very scalable compared to just retainers or projects. So if you can, and you have loads of trust, because that's the thing with commission, is you need trust. It is the biggest leverage here. But when you have that and you can charge commission, man, you can take it to the moon.
Yeah. So it sounds like the play, right, was obviously get your foot in the door, earn their trust, work for them for a little bit. And then when it comes down time to make like a big project, really set it up on your terms, right? Get the compensation structure in your favor as much as possible, but also like performance-based works really well too. It's really funny because, I talked to Jerry, I talked to Jay, I'm talking to you now. Jerry and Jay, well, Jay specifically, he's like all write emails, all email writing, copywriting, strictly copywriting, still over 10K per month. You are kind of like nearly the opposite, where it's like mostly funnel building, high level stuff, little bit of email writing here and there, but still bringing in good numbers, which kind of goes to show like with copywriting, there's just so many different paths you can take to actually just get to the results that you want to get to.
Yeah, there's a ton of different avenues that you can do. I know Jay is still sticking to the old school email stuff, the stuff that most beginners get into copywriting for, and there's absolutely there's no trouble with that. Like everyone finds their style, and I never really found how to do funnels. It's just I had clients who needed funnels, and I just adapted. So you're going to adapt to whatever your client says, and if you have to write YouTube scripts, you're going to write YouTube scripts, which I've done, and I've done plenty of. And yeah, you find your groove, you find what you like, what you don't like, what you want to do more of. And that's where you stand out as well in your style. Like people come to me in the 4DCR and say, look, how do I do a landing page? because I've done probably the most out of anyone in the 4DCI. But versus, for example, JPEF, I might go to him saying, look, how do I do a VSL? Or how do I do a webinar? And so you've also got that where you can lean on other people, because copywriting is pretty diverse, and it's not just emails. And actually, if you box yourself and think, I'm just going to write emails because it's easy, you're not going to be successful, because you have to push yourself to grow. And this is in all areas of life. How can you expect to earn 10K a month if all you're doing is writing emails? Maybe you can, but stretch yourself a bit. So
yeah, exactly. And you brought up another good point, is that Jay was talking to me as well about like writing webinars and stuff that like he'd never done before. But it kind of goes back with one of my main philosophies, which is like just be a problem solver. It's like he didn't know how to do that. And I don't know, you've probably done this before in the past. I just be selling stuff I don't know how to do yet. It's like someone's like, do you know how to do funnels? And I'm like, no, but hey man, how hard can it be? What one man can do, anyone can do. So let's get it.
Exactly. Yeah. When I generated over $1 million, it was just, I winged it. Like, I didn't know what to do, but if I made it work, anyone can make it work. Like when she said I need a funnel, I was like, okay, what's the funnel? And I have to search it up. So, but on the call, you have to go, yeah, sure, I'll get it done by Monday, and it's Friday, and you have the whole weekend to learn about it. And like, you can always be upfront. You can be like, look, let's say it's an e-com client, and you've only ever done, coaching. You can go, okay, well, I'm new to the e-com space, but I also know that I'm very good at what I do in the coaching space. It's Friday right now. Give me a weekend to learn everything I need to know. And then by Monday, I'll be the best person you've ever seen for e-com copy. And then they're like, oh, okay, sure. And then they trust it. You have to be confident, You have to, as you said, be a problem solver. I think a lot of people, they get on calls and they say, oh man, like, I don't really know. I don't know what to say. I don't have expertise. And that bleeds through. It's more than just saying stuff. It's about what you're saying. And if you don't sound confident, people can just smell it even through a screen. So be very careful with that. Be confident. It's not make it to you or make it. I'm not saying that, but just understand that it's fine. Like, it's fine to just be authentic and say, look, I don't know. But when you say that, show that you have a plan to fix it. Right. Just not, oh, I don't know. And then just say nothing. That wouldn't work. You'd have to say, oh, well, I'm not really sure, but I am sure of X, which means I'm sure I can do that for you too.
Right. No, it makes a lot of sense. Where, you just really learn as you go, learn as you earn. And taking a step back now, I also wanted to ask you, because I've been meaning to ask you just in general, is like, how's your life changed so far? Like, what are you able to do now that you're, obviously making money from your laptop, good money as well, as a copywriter, that you weren't really able to do previously?
Yeah. Thing is, I haven't done much because all I'm doing is working, and I love doing it. So I haven't even taken a break. Like, I've had to my girlfriend had to drag me out of this and be like, let's go on holiday. And, thankful to her, love her to bits. But I was able to pay my flight with her, and we had a nice weekend. And it's like, you can solve money now. For example, our flight got cancelled. We had to get an Uber. We had to get a hotel, et cetera, et cetera. I just paid money for it. I was like, okay, well, let's just take an Uber. Let's take Uber Black. Let's just go straight to the hotel. And then when we arrived there, it's like, oh man, the tram takes like 40 minutes. But Uber takes 20. Oh, but it's really expensive. Babe, I got it. And handled it. Like, with money, you can solve problems. And now I'm starting to feel like I'm a rich bastard because, the way I see money now is different. And sometimes I come across as arrogant, and maybe that's something I need to fix. But now I'll throw money at things and I go, how much is that? Oh, it's only 500. Okay, cool. Because I need to rewire my brain as well. Because, if you're not willing to spend money on yourself, how do you expect to earn money back? It's like, people want 5K retainers, but they're not ready to invest 5,000 in a mentorship. And energetically, that's not aligned. So how the hell do you think you're going to attract 5,000 when you can't spend it? You are holding on to this money in scarcity. You're never going to get 5,000. It's going to scare you to bits when you see it. You're going to go, that's way too much money. So you have to spend it. And now maybe I've gotten a little bit arrogant, whatever. But because of it, I'm able to earn that money back. Because when I spend it, I go, yeah, I'll make it back. And even if I haven't made it back, I'm confident I will make it back. And that's the difference. It's like, the price of being poor is always going to be more than the price of being rich, because it's going to steal away everything that you could be. So don't wait on being rich. There are people that you need to serve right now that you are not being able to serve at your highest level, because you're still buying into the rationalizations you tell yourself about why you're not successful.
Yeah, 100%. And really, like, the all-encompassing phrase that I use to describe it is really just having an abundance mindset, right? A lot of people have a scarcity mindset where they think like, oh man, somebody else got a client, so that means like there's one less client out there for me. Like, that sort of mindset where everything's just very limited, where in reality, a lot of people need to realize that there's abundance. There's enough for everybody to eat, especially for you. if you're willing to put in the work, right? I would even, same thing. I don't see it as, oh, 3K. I see it as like, one funnel of work just for this 3K thing. Man, that sounds awesome, right? And now I want to also, I guess, go off something else that you said, which was working a lot. So what does a typical day look like for you? Are you like still doing a lot of outreach? Are you just doing like all client work? Are you doing some studying on the side as well?
Yeah, lots of studying. I like to do at least maybe an hour or two of studying. You have to commit to mastery. I think Lucas said this, so credit to him, but there are two types of people. Those are earning 2K, 3K, 5K, 8K, 10K. And then those who go from 0 to 10K, 20K, 30K really quickly. And if you want to be in the ladder, if you want to be the second person, you have to commit to learning, because skills pay the bills. And if you commit to that over a long enough period of time, it will just snowball effect, and your income will skyrocket. So you always have to learn. You're always going to be a student. Always, 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 and always be a student. Always humble yourself. Always realize there are next levels. I'm at 16K, but I want to get to 20. And I'll listen to anyone who's at 20. I'll listen to someone who's at 4K. Just because they're making less money doesn't mean they have a fresher perspective. So always, always humble yourself. And a day in my life would look like that. So studying, most of the time doing client work. I hardly do much outreach. I'll do from time to time. I don't need to do so as much because I've already got enough clients on my plate where if I had more, I'd probably burn out. But I'm certainly looking to scale, which means I'm also looking to get back into outreach to just, scale to 20K a month and over. And, with outreach, I think a lot of people, that's what they struggle with. And I understand it because I struggle with it as well. And I still do, but it's about taking action. It's about going, okay, well, if I don't do this now, someone else is going to take my position, because that's exactly what's going to happen. And it doesn't matter whether you do email or Facebook or Upwork or Instagram. You have to commit to it. I mean, do you want to get rich? Are you allergic to money? Like, I think that there's a sentence in relationships that goes, if they wanted to, they would. Like if, for example, oh, my girlfriend, she's out in the club, like it's fine, like she's gonna come back, or the boyfriend going on a holiday to Dubai. It's like, no, he's not gonna talk to girls. If they wanted to, they would. If they, for example, if they wanted to come over to your place, or if they wanted to take a plane to go see you halfway across the world, if they wanted to, they would. Same with copywriting. If you really wanted to, you would. You'd be at 10K a month. You'd be, in the place you want to be. You'd be taking care of the people you want to be taken care of. So have a hard look at yourself and realize, do I really want this, or am I just, a lot of gurus, they peddle the dream of making 10K a month. So are you just borrowing their dreams up for yourself? Like, is it actually what you want to do? Make 10K a month? What if you're dissatisfied with 4K? Or what if you want to make 40K? A lot of people, they say 10K out of habit. They go, oh, how much money do you want? Oh, 10K. That's all they see online. Or saying or sometimes they'll go, oh, I'll make 500K a month. Like, okay, make 5K a month first, and then 15K, and then 50, not 500. So be realistic as well. Obviously, it's better to be optimistic than pessimist. But that's a long tangent. But what I'm trying to say is, yes, don't block yourself from having the life you want. It doesn't make sense. Like, unless you're sabotaging yourself, in which case you have to take a hard look in the mirror. But it's like, don't look at me and think, oh, he's perfect, he's amazing. I'm not. Like, I'm still learning. And, I always, even I wake up sometimes, I'm like, oh, I don't want to get it done. Oh, I don't want to do an hour study today. But you have to commit to mastery and, 1% become better every day. That's how you do it. Like, discipline will always outweigh motivation.
Yeah, 100%. Just like focus on what's in front of you. And you mentioned something else there that I wanted to unpack real quickly, which was like, some people are like, oh man, I want to make a million or make a whatever 500K. Like, I'm not sure. I think you were in it as well, right? Hustlers University. But I was in there, and I would literally hear people talk about like, man, copywriting sounds good, but like, you can make like 10K or 20K per month, but how am I going to get a Bugatti? So it's like people will be scared because it will only make them 10 to 20K per month. Also, these are the same people complaining about not being able to afford like $49 a month, right? So just also something funny to relate to that. And, you gave some other good advice to beginners. And I also kind of want to know, like, what was it like for you being a beginner? Like, where did you start out with copywriting before we met, before 40CI?
Man, it was hard. I think in a year, I've made more money in a month than I did in a year last year. It was hard. Like, I know what it's like to be a beginner, and I can tell you, if you commit to mastery, like I said, and you're the latter person, it will happen so quickly, and you will change like that. I can't snap my fingers, but you change like that. And last year, I mean, back in February, I think is when I started. I made about $200. Then in March, I think I made nothing. In April, I made maybe 1,000, and it kept like going on, project here and there, project here and there. Sometimes I was charged, bro, the first time I charged 4 figures, I was shaking. I know what it's like, but it's brilliant. It feels so good. I remember the first time I had that $200. I was in the bus in Japan. At the time I was living in Japan. I was on the bus. I was staring out the window. I had tears running down my eyes. When now I got 16K and I felt nothing. The $200, I don't know what it was, but it slapped. Absolutely slapped. So it's always going to be the best time. So cherish it. Like, you're a beginner. It's amazing being a beginner. Like, you get to grow and learn, and you're not as jaded. You're excited. Being a beginner is brilliant. It's the best thing you can do. I can't remember who it was, whether it was Jeff Bezos or Steve Jobs. I think it's Steve Jobs, but he basically became the CEO, and then he went back to his company as just a normal staff worker because he wanted to feel what it was like to be normal again. It's brilliant being a beginner. So cherish it. Don't get frustrated about it because it's normal. And because you're going to get frustrated, and because you're going to feel the pain of not being where you want to be, that's going to motivate you to be where you want to be anyway. So internalize that feeling. Cherish it. Feel angry. You should feel angry. You should feel sad. That's what's going to motivate you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's frustrating. And, I did my homework before this call. So I looked at our discovery call. So like the first time we met on Zoom when we were talking about getting you into 40 CI. And then also one of our coaching calls. And there was an instant, I'm sure you remember, where, we were talking about how project to get George to 10K per month. Like, how are we going to do this? And do you remember what you said you wanted like the timeline to be from where you were? Like, how many months?
Yeah, I think it was December 28th or 29th. And I said, by the 31st of March, I'm going to make 10K.
Yeah, exactly. And now, more or less, here we are. I think we said, we agreed on 3 months, and it's been what, like 4 months now?
Yeah, something like that. So, and obviously I smashed it.
Yeah. My question was like, how does putting a real timeline on your goals kind of help you achieve them faster and get like a real sense of urgency?
Well, here's the thing. First of all, I didn't even make it to the 31st of March. It happened a month later. So that's a really important disclaimer. It's like, you're going to set goals and you're going to fail them. And that's fine. I failed plenty of my goals. I know, Tyson, you failed plenty of your 90-day goals, but you go back up and brushed it off and did it again. Like, it doesn't matter if you fail. Like, what's the worst that can happen? What is the worst that can happen apart from betting on yourself and trying to become a better person? Like, what are you going to lose? Maybe a bit of money investing in yourself? That's the best sort of money you could have lost ever. So never regret it. Always realize that it's absolutely fine to fail, because it's never a failure. It's always a lesson. You're always going to get back up if you choose to. And then, yeah, when it came to actually getting that 16K, I think the urgency helped. The urgency really helped, but you can't really manufacture urgency. It has to come from within. If you really want to light a fire up under your ass, it's like I was saying before, it's either you have it or you don't. If you really wanted to, you would. Find whatever that problem is. Your parents aren't getting any younger. Your grandparents aren't getting any younger. You certainly aren't. Like, what is it costing you being poor? It's costing you a lot. When a family member goes to hospital and they had a stroke, what are you going to do? Oh, man, I'll come with moral support. I'll give people a hug. They don't want a fucking hug. They want money. Money solves problems. Like, especially if you're in a capitalist society, you live in the Western world, even if you live in the Eastern world, money solves problems. What are you going to do about it? Like, rationalize? Oh, but I'm not a money person. Oh, but like, my iguana died. I can't do it. Just, bro, you need money. And I think Lucas said this as well, so credit to him. But in order to be selfless, you have to be selfish. If you want to help other people, you have to help yourself first. You have to be almost egotistical. I shut myself in this little room. All I see is this camera every single day and this computer, and that's it. And I love it. And you'll realize soon enough that, okay, maybe people will start to go, they distance yourself from you, and they'll think you're weird. And who gives a shit? Who cares? Let them think what they want to think. Let them do what they want to do. You do you. It will be the best decision you ever make. And then they'll turn around and say, oh, George, you made how much money? Then you feel like a boss. So what are you prepared to do? Are you prepared to, stay the same, or are you prepared to change? Because if you ask me, I think I'm terrified of being in the same place 10 years later. And I think most people are. So, you'll never be ready, but you can always be willing to take the next step, willing to take the first step. So do it.
Yeah, 100%. And I like a lot of what you said there. And it also brings me back to, I guess, an overarching point, which is this: a lot of people feel as though it is a tactical thing, right? I need to know the tactics. I need to know the outreach method, the specific template. But what a lot of people just overlook or just go straight over the head is just the mindset shifts, right? So what were some of the most crucial mindset shifts that you had to make for achieving this income?
Well, now that I'm getting into sales, I realize everything is, the only reason that you're stopping yourself from having the life that you want is the lies that you keep telling yourself. I think Tony Robbins said that as well. But you're not broke because you lack money. You're broke because you lack conviction. And the only difference between people making over 10K a month and you where you are right now is we stopped negotiating with our fears. We said, let's do it. And we understood that, okay, the voice inside my head telling me, it's telling me I need to wait is just bullshit. And by the way, the same voice saying, oh, I need to wait, or, oh man, I'm not ready, is the same voice that when it's too late, it's going to go, man, I wish I'd done that. Like, no one's going to be on their deathbed and go, fuck, I wish I hadn't invested 5K in myself. You're going to say, fuck, I wish I'd done copywriting. I wish I'd made that 10K a month all I wanted. And that's what you're going to think on your deathbed. It like, if you were really about it, this copywriting thing would be your life is on the line. Because quite frankly, it kind of is. Like, what other option do you have? You want to stay a 9 to 5? Do you? I mean, you can. Like, there's no wrong as being a 9 to 5. My dad's a 9 to 5. He's the most respected man I have in my family. I respect him very much. But if that's not what you want for yourself, again, take a hard look in the mirror and realize, is it really what you want? Because again, if you wanted to, you would. If you wanted to be a 10K a month, you'd be there already. So, I mean, if you're comfortable with the 9 to 5 life, sure. But if you're not, then you certainly need to take action to make sure that doesn't happen. Every day you don't start is the day someone else goes further ahead with the same 24 hours that you wasted. So again, you'll never be fully ready, but just take that first step.
100%. And it sounds like time is something that's like just super important just in general. And to build off that, I guess, what's one of the biggest time wasters you see new beginners I just make mistakes with? Like, they just waste a lot of time doing.
They think they need to learn when really they just need to take action. And it's so, I guess it's a little bit conventional saying this, but it's true, And again, they tell themselves rationalizations. I need to learn more. I'll do one more video because of XYZ. And I'm working with coaches, and it's the same thing. Like, it doesn't matter if you're a copywriter, a coach, a multimillionaire. People always do the same thing. It's just at different levels, people do it less. For example, with coaches that I work for, they're like, oh man, I need to take one more course, so I still need to get a certification before I teach other people fitness. No. I'm actually copywriting to these people, so I'm also setting them on the idea of not having to need certifications and just taking a first step. And so what I said to them, which what I say to any copywriter watching who's afraid of taking the next step, is like, what are you afraid of? Are you afraid of being successful? Like, you're afraid of it working out and you get a sale? I mean, God forbid you make money, right? What are you so scared of? And if you're scared of being successful, then maybe that's something linked to limiting beliefs or trauma that you need to sort out. Maybe you don't want to be. Maybe you don't want to be seen. Maybe you have a fear of visibility. Maybe you don't want to be judged. Well, whatever that limiting belief has come from, you need to identify it, because that's the first step to change it. So don't listen to your rationalizations. And the journey is going to be difficult, but it's always rewarding. As I said, like, I think that there's a quote from Jordan Belfort: "I've been a rich man and I've been a poor man and a rich man, and I choose rich every single time." And it's true, because being poor is costing you a whole lot more than being rich. It's not just about money. It's time. It's fulfillment. It's servitude. You can't serve people when you're broke.
Right, 100%. And I think it goes back to something else we were saying. It reminds me of when we were talking about scarcity and abundance, where a lot of people just feel a sense of skepticism, and they think that it's logic. They think, oh, well, I mean, I see all the comments, of course. People say things like, oh, bro, if you were really making so much money, why would you even make videos? Or don't you already have enough money? Or if it were really this true, if it were really possible, everybody would do it, et cetera, et cetera. But that same like skepticism and logic that serves them in other points are the exact same thing that kind of like block their path or block their belief from themselves. So how does somebody, I guess, get over that?
How do they get over the lies they tell themselves? You have to be present. Like, you have to identify it, because it's subconscious and it's so deeply ingrained that you're not going to uncover it if you don't pay attention to it. And I think what you need to start doing is change your life outside of copywriting. Like, I mean, what does it look like working all day at your desk? I mean, there's other things that need to be taken care of. Maybe you're not giving your girl the attention she needs, or maybe you're not present with your parents, or maybe you don't clean up your room. So as weird as it sounds, like, do that first. Go for a run, go to the gym, clean your room, Make sure the people in your family feel loved, etc. Because then you'll spot your rationalizations easier because you were committing to becoming a better person, which means you're also committing to shedding the old beliefs that you have. And therefore, when you rationalize and you sit down and you're about to work and you go, oh man, I want to look at YouTube a bit. You'll catch yourself and go, hold on, why am I looking at YouTube? And then ask yourself questions, like talk yourself out of it. And talk yourself out of it by convincing yourself why it's such a bad idea. So it's like, oh, wait, why am I on YouTube? Oh, because I want to watch a video before I get prepared. Okay. Why? Oh, well, because I want to get into the groove. Okay. So you're going to spend how long on YouTube exactly? Oh, I don't know. You don't know. And like talk yourself out of it. And then you realize it's such a stupid idea to begin with because the subconscious isn't there to help you. It's just there to keep you safe. And once you understand that, that's why being successful is so hard, is because it goes against everything that we as humans have been taught for thousands of years, which is to survive. But if you don't want to survive and you want to thrive, then you have to get over that.
Yeah, 100%. And you brought up some other good points. One was your subconscious, and I say this a lot as well, is that like your subconscious is really programmable, and your subconscious makes more of the decisions than your actual conscience does. So you can program your subconscious just by what I call like self-hypnosis. It's like, I've done how many videos with like 10K per month copywriters at this point, but for some reason you still don't really know if it's possible for you. And not even just me or just us, but like you see so many people out there being successful in general, so many motivational speeches, so many people proving that you can actually do it and make it from nothing. And when you expose yourself to that over and over and over again, I find that it really does help, like you're kind of saying, help you get into the habit of catching yourself when you're like, oh, dude, I'm gonna mess off. I'm gonna watch some Netflix. I'm gonna go on a binge, that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just think, what is the thing that's going to serve me more? Is it looking at these people and saying, oh, they're gurus, they sell courses, fuck that, and then just keep scrolling, or pressing pause on the wheel and going, fuck, shit, I wish that was me. Because then you're going to change. Like, you can choose to believe it or not. It's your own reality. If you choose to believe that this call we're having is completely fake and I am just a testimonial, made to peddle your course, and people, like, sure, you can believe that. Go ahead. Like, it's not going to change my life. But with the way we're having this conversation, it could certainly change your life if you listen to it and pay attention. Again, it's your choice. But if you want to stay, the way things are, then yes, you can move on and you can continue and you can go back to your day job. And you can live a life of quiet desperation where you look around and said, shit, I wish I'd taken the leap. Or you can go, okay, now let me humble myself. I think Andrew Tate said this, and it's so true now that I'm making more money. It's like, you're either broke because you're lazy, arrogant, or stupid. And for most people, it's the second one. It's they're arrogant. So humble yourself. Realize not everyone's a Dubai guru, millionaire, peddling in courses. There are loads of people behind the scenes. I mean, even when you work in these teams, there's like the project manager, there's the designer, there's the media buyer. They're all making money, and they're all making money online. And sure, not many of them are going to be making 10K. I think another thing you need to rewire is 10K is still harder than you think it's going to be. A lot of the teenagers, they got into Andrew Tate's course and like, oh mate, 10K is going to be easy. My father worked his whole life and never was able to crack that until I think maybe recently. I don't know, but making 10K a month is unfathomable for the older generation, especially online. Like I take calls sometimes with normal people because I'm doing a little bit of closing on the side, and it's like, I can't imagine making 10K, and there are people making 4K, 5K, and they've done that their whole life. So please understand that 10K is going to be harder than you think, but it's also going to be faster than you think. Even if it takes you 2-3 years to make 10K, you still did that in 2 to 3 years. Most people never do that in their life. So, realize 10K is good. Obviously, when you're going to get there, you're going to realize you want a whole lot more. I want a whole lot more. I don't want to be at 16K. I want to be at 50K. And then I'm going to get to 50K. And I want to be 100K. And that's the game. But first, focus on that. Realize, you need to humble yourself. If you see people winning, instead of saying, man, they are scammy, just go, okay, I want to win too. Like, it's always your fault, even if it's not your fault. And that's one thing I learned from my grandma, and it's always stuck with me. It's like it's always going to be your fault, even if an argument with your girlfriend or your mom, it wasn't your fault, you didn't start it, it's your fault. Because when you say those things to yourself, you will find room to grow. But if you go, it's the world's fault, it's everyone else's fault, you will stay in this cocoon of not taking ownership. And if you want to change, you first have to realize that you're the problem. Because if you realize you're the problem, then you're the only one that can get yourself out of that problem. That's why you need ownership. You need commitment, ownership, and a deep deep pain in order to change. If you don't have those three, then you go back to the drawing board.
100%, 100%. You brought up a couple things there. The first one that honestly makes me chuckle is that there's like people's conspiracy theories of like, you're probably some dude that works at McDonald's and Tyson gave you $50 to hop on this call and tell you whatever. But I mean, like same thing, man. If you're just going to be overly skeptical, I mean, it's your belief is your reality. So whatever you think is, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you think there's no opportunity out there and you always just ruminate on that idea, then there never will be. And then also to tie back to something we said a little while ago, which was like, you and I both made 90-day goals so many times, failed them. It's like we're both failures, but we still make more than probably, we're in the top 10, top 5% of the whole population for income. So failures is really not that bad at all. Everybody fails. Everybody fails often. Now, before we wrap things up, I want to go over one last thing, which is, I guess, what is the top thing that you would tell yourself, the top piece of advice that you would tell beginner George from, a year or two ago?
George from a year ago. I mean, I'm proud of him because he never quit. So I guess that, like, don't quit. Because I saw the vision, I was like, I'll stick to it. So what I'll tell anyone else is stick to it, because it's going to be worth it every single time when you invest in yourself. And, it's not just about investing money, although I think everyone should invest money in themselves, get a mentorship. And the reason why is because what I've explained is like, you can't expect 5K retainer if you can't spend 5K on yourself. Now, I'm not saying spend 50K to make 50K. It's not that transactional, but you need to get a feel of what it's like to really be uncomfortable and to let that money go. If you can't let it go, you can't receive it. It is simply a law of the universe. So understand that. And that's why I invested myself in a 4D bootcamp first. And the price back then was like 500 to start. It was a lot for me at the time. I was like, shit. But I did it. And then I did the 4DCI, and then the next level, and then more of that afterwards. And I constantly invest in myself. And like, once you get into copywriting, you realize all the coaches that you want to work for, they all have coaches as well. They all have mentors. It's not a guru fucking pyramid scheme. Everyone's got mentors because it's a fast way to learn. But what are you going to say to LeBron James? Oh, LeBron James, you're a scammer because you had a mentor. What are you going to say to all the football coaches who are, coaching some of the best players in the world? Like, everyone has a coach. Everyone who's ever done shit has a coach. Steve Jobs had a coach. Warren Buffett had a coach. And now he's coaching other people. But like, how arrogant of you to say, I don't need a coach, or I'm going to figure things out myself. You're arrogant. And that's why you're broke, because it's one of those three things. So yeah, what I would say to myself back then, man, just keep sticking to it. I remember that $200 in the bus. I was like, fuck, it's not much, but I feel amazing, but I'm going to keep going. And for months, I didn't see any results. And I remember with you, we had a conversation a few months ago. I was like, man, I'm in a rut. I don't know where my next client's going to come from. And then poof, like a fart in the wind, 7K up front, boom, commission, boom. Like, it happens. If you commit to mastery, you commit to your skills every single day. One day it would just come on your lap, and you'll be like, wow, okay, that came out of nowhere because you committed to mastery. Now, with that being said, don't commit to mastery and don't do anything else. Like, don't just write all day and not outreach. You have to outreach. But you do the combination of the two, of continuing to develop your skills as well as taking action, which is what everything we've talked about. Not negotiating with your fears, realizing that what is costing you being poor, what is costing you in the now, taking ownership, realizing it's all your fault. Once you do those things, you will make money. Undoubtedly, guaranteed. It's also guaranteed that if you don't, you'll stay the same. So what do you want? Which guarantee do you want?
100%. We mentioned a few things there. The first one was like, being able to invest in yourself, and a lot of people just thinking it's crazy, where, probably one of the biggest hypocritical things in, I guess, today's society, especially the older generation, is like, go spend 20K, 50K, 100K on university, college. Don't you dare spend a couple $100, a couple $1,000 on like online education, which I just find so funny, because people are sold on the idea. It's just what form of the idea they really believe in. And the other two things that you said were, one was sunk cost. So, really being able to commit to something once you've invested in yourself in it and you've already spent so much time in it, you're not going back, right? The biggest reason why most people fail is just mostly quitting. So if you're already like, I'm like couple $1,000s deep, I'm months deep, there's no turning back now, you're just going to keep going. And then finally, you also talked about coaches, spending a lot of money on coaches. It's like, dude, I've worked with people who have spent 100K on mindset coaches, or like, 50K on funnels and marketing and things. It really is just, everybody does really practice what they preach. And the people who make the most, usually in my experience, maybe yours too, are the ones that spend the most on themselves. They just spend the most on their business. They invest the most in general.
And they invest in the most in like the hotels and the Ubers and the first class flights, because they understand that in order to become the best and receive that sort of money, they have to spend that sort of money. It's just the law of the universe. Like, if you're going to hold on to your $200, what do you expect? What do you expect? You're holding on to this money thinking $200 is a lot, because otherwise you wouldn't be holding on to it. And then you think you're going to get paid 10K a month. Be realistic. Like, open your mind up. Realize you're being arrogant. And investing in yourself goes back to what we were saying about lighting a fire up under your ass. That's the reason I made 10K a month. It's because I had urgency. And if you don't have urgency, then again, you need to take a hard look in the mirror and say, wait, do I really want to make 10K? Or do I really want this? Like, maybe I don't want this enough. Maybe I'm just not motivated. And that to me is terrifying, to realize I'm not what I wanted to be. I'm not as committed as I thought I was. So take a hard look at yourself.
Absolutely. Make that commitment. Well, man, it's always a pleasure. Thanks so much for spending your time, really spilling the sauce, the value to the people. Can't wait to also just see you grow, see you hit that 20, 50, 100K. I mean, entrepreneurship is a little bit of a curse, because the more you get, the more you want. But hey, man, that's the game, like you said. So, man, thanks again. And I'll be talking to you again soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your time, Tyson. Appreciate it.
Of course, man. Next interview at 50K.
Yes, sir.
Sweet, man. Let's get it. Awesome. Peace.